I just want to say Mazal Tov to the family. I didn't know that today was going to be another special Seuda, another time for Simcha and happiness. You know, I think in this month of Tevet, and especially now in the Chevle de Mashiach, that we're struggling, that we're in the birth pangs of Mashiach. To have two Seudas from Klal Yisrael is very, very nice, thank God. Baruch Hashem, there should be a bracha for them. Their daughters should bring them nachat and joy, happiness and peace. If you guys don't mind to just give me a few minutes, this is actually my last day in yeshiva. So this is for personal reasons. But before I start, I just want to say thank you to everybody. You guys have taken me in as family over the past 5 or 6 years. And even though they say that you grow into a man when you turn 13, if you grow up in Ashkenazi and secular, you don't grow up to a man until probably 10 or 15 years later. And thank God I was able to do that here with the Bukharian community. I want to tell you that everything that I've done, including this Masechet, would not be possible if it wasn't for all of you. Rav Walken loved you guys, and he gave up his life for you, and he instilled in me that same passion and that same desire. Rav Walken used to say, if you want to be a rabbi, you need to know one thing. Mesirat Nefesh, you don't exist anymore. Now, obviously, that might not excite the majority of people not to exist anymore. But for a person like myself, who has been through a lot, Rav Walken used to say in the name of his rabbi, Rabelsky. Rabelsky was involved in a lot of things, helping a lot of people, especially those who were struggling, those who didn't know things about Yiddishkeit, who usually you would leave to Kiru rabbis, and he was busy trying to help them. And they asked the rabbi, why are you busy trying to help these people? Anybody can do this. You're the Gadol Ador. And Rav Belsky said something which stuck with Rav Walken for the rest of his life and has stuck with me ever since it was told to me. Rav Belsky responded on the spot that when you care, you don't care. Again, for anybody who didn't hear, when you care, you don't care. And the difficulties of life, even though they're so hard and tumultuous, and you wish they didn't happen, at the same time, they bring you something beautiful that's called humility. And when you have humility, then you care and you don't care. So I want to tell each of you here, thank you so much. I love all of you. I'm going to carry you in my heart forever. Bezrat Hashem, in a couple months, I hope to go to the land of Israel, and I'll keep you with me in my heart there as well. Amen. Everything that I do for the rest of my life is in your zchut, and I mean that with all sincerity. So thank you for everybody. I really appreciate it. I'm going to now say at the end of this Masechet Makkot. So if you could please bear with me for 1 second. Va'idalach. It's written, Va'idalach edim namanim et Uriah hakohen ve'et Zachariah ben Yebarchaihu. I will summon trustworthy witnesses for myself, Uriah the Kohen and Zachariah ben Yebarchaihu. V'chi ma inyan Uriah etzel Zachariah. What connection does Uriah have with Zachariah? Uriah b'mikdash rishon and Zachariah mikdash sheni. Uriah said during the era of the first Beit HaMikdash, whereas Zachariah said during the era of the second Beit HaMikdash. Why are they mentioned together then? These are two different times. Elu talak katuv. Rather, the Torah made nevuato shel Zachariah b'nevuato shel Uriah. That it should make the prophecy of Zachariah dependent on the prophecy of Uriah. But Uriah kativ. Uriah said, and it's written, Lechen biglachem Siyyum tzadeh techaresh. Therefore, before you Siyyum is going to be plowed over like a field. Zachariah Kativ, and Zachariah said, Ad yeshvo zekenim zkenot bechovot b'Yerushalayim. Old men and old women will once again sit in the streets of Yerushalayim. Ad shelo nikayeman nevuatu shel Uriah. As long as the nevuah of Uriah had not been fulfilled, Haiti mitjareh shelo tikayem nevuato shel Zachariah, that the nevuah, the prophecy of Zachariah, would not be fulfilled. Achshav nikayeman nevuato shel Uriah. Now that the prophecy of Uriah had been fulfilled, biyadua nevuato shel Zachariah nikayemet. It is certain that the prophecy of Zachariah will be fulfilled. B'lashon hazeh amrula. Rabbi Akiva's friends and colleagues said to him these words: Akiva, nechamtanu, Akiva, nimchantanu. Akiva, you have comforted us. Akiva, you have comforted us. I want to say one quick thing, and then we'll do the Hadran, if it's okay. It used to be for the majority of my life, I never heard the word Hashem. I didn't know what tefillin was. I didn't know what Shabbat was until I was 24 years old. And obviously, even then, when you try to realize what that is and have the zchut to been told, you have a completely warped, distorted way of looking at Judaism, looking at the Torah, looking at Hashem, looking at life. I was thinking to myself at the end of this Masechet with this very famous Gemara, why is it that three gigantic tzaddikim saw the burning of the Beit HaMikdash and they saw a fox come out of the Kodesh Kadoshim and they're all crying hysterically? And Rabbi Akiva is laughing. Mapitom, what are you doing? This is the worst thing that ever happened in history. You yourself know better than anybody else. What is a life without the Beit HaMikdash, and what is a life with the Beit HaMikdash? What is a life without Hashem, and what is a life with Hashem? And you're the one laughing. And I wondered to myself, how could it be that Rabbi Akiva could laugh, knowing, like it says at the end, that I didn't know that the Beit HaMikdash would ultimately be rebuilt until this one was destroyed. Why was Rabbi Akiva the only one who understood that destruction leads to rebuilding? Why couldn't his good friends who were true tzaddikim in his generation, they could not understand that the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash would lead to its rebuilding? And with this, I think you have to look a little bit earlier at Rabbi Akiva's life that was filled with hardship and difficulty, that he himself hated the rabbis. It said he wanted to bite their leg like a donkey or a mule bites. And I don't know if you guys know, when a mule bites, what's the chiddush about a mule biting? Everything that it bites, it snaps immediately. There's no chewing action. There is a complete break. This is how much Rabbi Akiva hated the establishment. And his wife saw him and said, this person, if he could take that hitlavut, that fire, if he could take that faith in the opposite way, if he could take that desire to do something so strong, and he could bring it to the Jewish people, and he could bring it to the Torah, and he could bring it to Hashem, this person could help so many people. And her family didn't want to meet him. They threw her out of the house. She married him anyway. What was the reason? She saw a good person. I was told when I got here, you're very lucky you ended up in this yeshiva, because the truth is, you wouldn't have been accepted anywhere else. I didn't understand at the time, but I'm starting to understand now that because of Rav Walken and the culture that he established here to love every Jew, not just as a bumper sticker on your car, but in actuality, that they accepted me here. And the Bukharians accepted me with open arms, despite the fact that, not unlike Rabbi Akiva, I was also trying to bite the legs of rabbis before. And as a result of all of your support and all of your love, and my wife, who I look at as Rachel, that her parents didn't want to meet me necessarily, and she left Israel to come to be with me, despite the fact that her family thought she was insane. And now, thank God, Baruch Hashem, they're very proud. And my family's very proud. And my students are very proud. And I want to tell you what I believe is the emet of why Rabbi Akiva could see what his friends couldn't see. Because only a person who falls to complete darkness, who hits Gehenna in this world, can see how Gehenna can turn into Gan Eden. That the tzaddik can't stand in the same place as the Baal Tshuva. And right before this, you have an opportunity where they're speaking about the mitzvot that David HaMelech saw that 613 was too much for us. Let's bring it down to 11. Oh, we're celebrating it. Very good. These kids are into it. So they're brought down to 11 mitzvot. David HaMelech said, we can't do 613. I'll bring it down to 11. No, they're not mine. Comes along Yeshaya, and he brings it down. No, we can't do 11 anymore. It's too much. We'll do 6. Comes Micha, I believe, and he brought it down to 3. And finally, you see Habakkuk, the kid who died when he was a kid and had to be brought back to life, that his mother was crying hysterically and begging Elisha, I'm not letting you go until you wake my child up. That same child who grows up later says there is only one mitzvah that we can keep at this point. V'tzadik be'emunato yichyeh. That a tzaddik lives with his emunah. And who has more emunah than Rabbi Akiva? Who is more emunah than the person who went down to darkness and came all the way back up? That he can see the Beit HaMikdash burning down. And even though the people around him are saying, Ma pitom, what are you doing laughing? Emunah is great. Faith is very nice. But Lamaseh, look what's happening. Everyone around sees the COVID virus. We see the Jewish people. We're struggling more than ever. We see in our families lack of peace at home. We see with our family members health issues. Within ourselves, difficulties, trials, tribulations you can never imagine. But in the end, you should know that the greater is the destruction, the greater is the rebuilding. Because these two nevuahs, these two prophecies are dependent on each other. And to the degree in which we are suffering in this world, the Jewish people collectively, the Jewish man or woman individually, you should know to that degree it will be rebuilt. And Rabbi Nachman says, how are you besimcha from now until then? You need to borrow from the future. You need to understand that the destruction that you're having right now, to that degree, it will be rebuilt. Remember Beit HaMikdash. Remember Siyyum. Because Joseph HaTzadik that was thrown away by his brothers, that he was kidnapped, that he was thrown in a hole by the ones he thought loved him, that he was imprisoned, that he was enslaved. In the end, he brought the Geula for all the Jewish people. And he said, don't be upset. He laughed when he was in prison. He danced when he was in prison. Because Hashem wants all of this, and this is going to lead to our Geula. How was Joseph able to know that destruction can lead to good? Because his brothers betrayed him. In the end, no matter what you're going through in life, I beg you, as my last message here, Bezrat Hashem, until you hear from me again, don't give up on anything. Don't give up on anything. And even if every single day you find yourself falling and breaking under the Beit HaMikdash, those shattered glass, those broken walls are falling every day, seemingly more and more financially, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. However it's going, we're all in the same boat. You need to know and understand, to that degree, the Beit HaMikdash is going to be rebuilt. That is going to be the rebuilding of the Beit HaMikdash. Start over again. How many times do I have to start over? Every day. But I fall many times in the day. Start over again. Start over again. In the end, the tzaddik lives with his emunah. He doesn't live with his money. He doesn't live with his health. He doesn't live with his simcha even. He lives with his faith. I left everything in my life for emunah. Bezrat Hashem, we should all be able to bring emunah to ourselves and to the whole world. Where Rabbi Nachman says the entire galut and exile is in the fact that there is a chesron in emunah. And when emunah spreads all over the world, the redemption is going to take place. And who is going to bring that emunah to the world? You. Don't think to yourself, because I didn't learn in yeshiva growing up, because I got kicked out of school, because I had a learning disability, because I wasn't smart, because I wasn't this. You're the one who's going to bring emunah to the whole world. Because Rabbi Akiva is the only one who can see the Beit HaMikdash being destroyed and know that this is going to lead to its rebuilding. Bezrat Hashem, we should all see it. B'marav yameinu soon in our days. Hadran alach elehen hokin. Uslika la Masechet Makkot. Hadran alach Masechet Makkot v'adrach alan. Datach alach Masechet Makkot v'datach alan. Lo nitnashe minach Masechet Makkot v'lo titnashe minan. Lo ba'ama adim v'lo ba'ama datei. Yehi ratzon milpanecha. Adonai Eloheinu v'elei avatenu. Tehei toratcha. Emunatenu. Ba'olam hazeh tehei imanu le'olam haba. Chanina bar Papa. Rami bar Papa. Nachman bar Papa. Ahahi bar Papa. Abba Marie bar Papa. Rav Dram bar Papa. Rachish bar Papa. Surcha bar Papa. Ada bar Papa. Daru bar Papa. Areb na Adonai Eloheinu et direi toratecha. V'finu v'piot amecha beit Yisrael. Hine kulanu anachnu v'tetzaenu v'tetzaei tetzaenu. V'tetzaei amecha beit Yisrael. Kulani yodei shemecha. Le'omdei toratcha lishma. V'yavad echachmanei mitzvotecha ki le'olam hi li. Yehi lebi tamim b'chokecha. Le'ma'an lo evosh. Le'olam lo eshkach b'kudecha. Ki yivam chiyatani. Baruch ata Adonai. Lamdeni chukecha. Amen, amen, amen. Selah ve'ed. Modim anachnu lepanecha. Adonai Eloheinu v'elei avatenu. Shesamata alkeinu b'shvei beit hamidrash. V'lo samta alkeinu moshvei karnot. She'anu maskimim ve'hem maskimim. Anu maskimim l'divrei Torah. Ve'hem maskimim l'divrayim b'teilim. Anu emalim ve'hem amalim. Anu amalim mekablim sachar, vehem amalim ve'enam mekablim schar. Anu ratzim vehem ratzim. Anu ratzim lechayei olam haba. Vehem ratzim lebe'er shachat. Ve'ne'emar v'ata Elohim. Tordim lebe'er shachat. Anshei damim u'mirma lo yechetzu yameim. Ve'ani eftach bach. Yehi ratzon milpanecha. Adonai Elohai kashem she'azar tani. L'sayem Masechet Makkot ken ta'azrini. להתחיל מסכתות וספרים אחרים וסיימם ללמוד ולמד לשמוע ולעשות ולקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה וזכות כל הדיינים והמורים והתלמידי חכמים יעמוד לי ולזרעי שלא תמוש התורה בפי ומפי זרעי וזרע זרעי עד עולם ותתקיים בי ויתעלה לך תנחה אותך ושכבך תשמור עליך, והקיצותה היא בשיחך, כי הביא ירבו ימיך, ויוסיפו לך שנות חיים, אורך ימים במינה, בשמאלה ושב בכבוד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. יתקדע ויקדע שמי רבה, הבמדי הוא עתיד להתחדעת, או החיה, מתיה, עושה עסקה ידון לחיי אומה, ומבנה קרצה ירושלים, ושכללה איכלה בגאווה, ומהכה בחנה נוכרעה מנהרה, ולהטבה בחנה די שמאי אלעטרי, וימליך קודשא בריחו מלכותי ויקרא ויצמח בוקנה ויקרא משיחי. בחיי חון וביום חון ובחיי דחו בישראל. בגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. אמן יהי שמי רב יברך לעולם לעמי עמיה יברך. יפרח וישתבח ויפר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתעלה 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 שמי תקודשה בריחו. למקומי ברכתה ושירת תושבחתה ונחמתה. ותמירם בעמל ואמרו אמן. על ישראל רבנם ועל תלמידיהם ועל כל תלמידי תלמידיהם ועל כל מאן דעסקים באורייתא די ועצרה הדין ודי וכל עתה ואחר יהא להונו כל שלמה רבה חינה וחיסטה רחמים וחיים אריכים ומאזני רוויחי וקנה מקדם אבוהון די דשמיא והרע ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיא וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו Ba'kol amo Yisrael v'imru amen. Mazalto, we should have a lot of atzlacha and everything you do in the future. Hashem, and can you give me a bracha that I should have? Bless you, that you should fulfill your tafkid in this world, that you should know that at the end of the days, you only have to say who you were, not that you were Abraham, Yitzchak, or Yaakov, that you were you. Bezrat Hashem, you should have the courage to be you to the fullest, and every day do the best that you can. That you should believe that everything from Hashem is for the very best. So spend the time every day that you ask Hashem to help you in all that you do. Bezrat Hashem, we should be in Yerushalayim together. Rabbi, Aminu, dancing and singing. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I'm not sure exactly where I am. We're still working on the next couple months.
Financially, what are you going to do?
That's what this is. You know, we're doing okay now. The organization's doing
Yeah. The thing is still recording.
Oh, yeah.